through line if the letter is interrupted rather than,
Yeah. Well, and we kind of, I thought that moving it around a little bit would be easier to introduce us to Claudia, but then introduce us to their, I guess, the Rift section, right?
Yeah, it tracks a lot more clearly with that edit for sure.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think we're live, so hi everybody. Hello. Happy thunderstorm day. I'm really happy that the heat has broken and that we've got a little bit of rain coming our way because it's been bloody hot and I can't stand that. Gives me brain fog. So hi Harmony, do you want to introduce yourself and then we can talk about what we're going to read?
Yes, my name is Harmonie Tower, soap opera name, and and I'm lucky enough to be a co-writer on this little project that we're working on. I am an actor foremost, but I have done a little bit of writing in my time, a little bit of producing. But I pretty much this year, I was like, okay, Harmony, you're not going to be doing any theater till next year. So get used to it, live with it, take a moment, grieve for
it.
So this Classics Reimagined with Tiger's Heart Collective that's been going on since June has been like a lifeline for me, especially since I have a particular love for the classics. So it's been really fantastic to stay creative, stay connected to the theater community, and work on really, I think, excellent projects that are just, sowing the seeds for when we can actually, go out and do these things. So I'm really excited, and I'm really happy to be contributing to this. This has been great. It's been really fun.
Yeah, and I don't think either of us really expected to stumble upon this kind of a story of this magnitude and this size and this amount of potential. So we had the Beaumont Fringe contact us maybe after the first week of August and say, hey, we're still holding a mini fringe. Do you want to come and do some stuff? And I was like, maybe, okay, that, we didn't really have anything in the bank that we could just roll out and perform because everything's been on ice for the last couple of months. But then we were doing this Classics Reclaimed City Dionysia and just looking at a whole bunch of Greek and Roman mythology, lots of fantastic translations of Greek plays by women. We had a symposium night, not last night, but the night before, where a bunch of us got together and we were supposed to share some of that content with you all tonight, but our wonderful neighbors had a celebration next door. So it was there was a lot going on. So we kind of fed off of their celebratory energy, but it didn't really come across on video as something that we can share online. So lots of more of that kind of stuff that I'm sure we'll come back to and we'll be able to talk about because it was just wonderful to experiment with having some people in the garden in our outdoor space together live in person, but also having some people on Zoom. So we had friends in Calgary, friends in Ottawa who came to join the conversation, which was wonderful. And so when we were getting ready for this symposium, City Dionysia thing, and Beaumont Fringe contacted us, I said to Harmony, oh yeah, we can throw together a couple of myths and, we can just tell some stories and it'll be really fun. And then we came across some research about the Vindalanda Tablets. Harmony, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, sure. So the Vindalanda Tablets were discovered in the 1970s in northern England. And on these tablets are the first recorded or the first discovered that we have of Latin written in a woman's hand. So there is fragments of different letters, but one in particular that drew Danielle's eye, she discovered it first, was this birthday invitation from a woman named Claudia Severa to her sister, either friend or a biological sister, to a birthday party. And it's just like a tiny fragment, a postscript at the end of a scribed letter. So the entire letter was most probably written by a scribe, but she has a little postscript at the end that she adds to the letter, which is written in her own hand. And it's just a very powerful, but very, very simple little mark of women's history amongst all of this that has survived the ages. And that was sort of the spark of inspiration that got us writing who is this woman, you know, what is her relationship, what was her life like. And then we're also looking at Greek mythology, so bridging the Greek myths that we love into telling a story of what this woman's life must have been like in the tale of two sisters who are separated over distance. And that those themes, of course, are really resonant with us right now. So it was just like a really lovely thing to find, and really sparked off a 2-week writing spree.
Yeah, it was a sprint. It was not a marathon. There are no parallels that we can draw with that Greek legend. Yeah, when I first heard the postscript in particular, I got really emotional, and I think I sent a message to you, Harmonie, didn't I? And say, am I crazy to be so impacted by the simplicity of these words and just the very soft and gentle outpouring of daily emotion? You know, it's not an epic saga of a general conquering whatever territory. It's just these women who are so like all of us today, with friends and family, and struggling with being separated and struggling with not being able to see each other all the time. So it was just, you know, waiting to be mined for this kind of story. So yeah, we're really excited about presenting a staged reading of our new play, SOROR CARA, which means dear sister in Latin. This weekend on Saturday, August 22nd, down in Beaumont at the RuminariLIVE Fringe. It's been a little bit, yeah, it's been a sprint for sure. And then of course with COVID, there have been a lot of curveballs. So as of this week, we no longer are able to rehearse together in the same space. And our time has been greatly truncated. So what that means is that, I mean, on a positive note, it means that we can focus on the writing and we can focus on telling a really great story, and presenting that. It doesn't have as many of the theatrical elements that I'm sure we would have been able to develop had we been able to rehearse in person. But it means that we've got some really good bones to be starting on and building to where this story might go in future. So let's do it. Let's read it. Do we want to? Should we do the same thing that we did at the symposium, and I'll just read in your stage directions, and you can read in mine?
Yeah, I think that's more than doable.
I'm gonna try and turn my video off, and for the reveal, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Digital theatrics. I like it.
Can't help it.
Okay, I got an idea too. All right,
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is like Zoom classical theater improv.
Yeah.
This is as close as I get to improv ever. Okay, I'm gonna stop my video and we'll give us some stage directions. I'm glad I'm no longer Ben Blythe. I am now myself. That's the problem with sharing a Zoom account. So you always forget to change your name. Oh, I should probably say I'll be playing Claudia, Sister Claudia.
And I'll be playing Lepidina, who in the original Vindalanda Tablet is the woman that she is writing to.
Great. So it's the middle of the night. Dim lights come up on Claudia's slightly messy home. Claudia enters from one side with a laundry basket, exhausted. She makes her way to her chair and sits, beginning to fold the clothes. Lights come up on Lepidina's spotless, slightly Spartan home. Lepidina enters from another side with a glass of wine, deep in thought. During the course of Lepidina's first letter, Claudia slowly folds some things or tidies up, running out of steam. Lepidina's writing table is sparse. A mirror, ornamental vase, a pitcher of wine, and a glass. She sits examining her reflection in quiet contemplation. Pouring herself another glass of wine, she takes a sip, considers a moment, and begins to write.
Glad tidings from your long-lost sister. Such flowery language, silly girl. Are you poet Virgil this gray morning? Remove the artifice and begin again. My dearest, sweet sister, Claudia. Sweet, dearest. Am I now the false crone she and I, when we were babes, swore in secret we would never be? Dear sister, it has been too long since I last wrote, since we last met. Forgive me for my absence, though I am sure your boisterous sons give you no time to grieve. In my mind's eye, they are still babes, yet they must be grown now, almost men. Does Brachus still play Achilles at Troy, with poor Brutus as Hector dragged across the battlefield? And you as Penthesilea, Amazonian queen, to save the day and end the war. And I, Helen, looking down from our window upon the scene. Alas, my soft hands cannot wield an axe for long. Paterna, you remember our neighbor apothecary, has brought me countless remedies for my bare womb, and I will soon, Venus willing, forge a soldier for my dear husband, Cerealis, my cherished commander. This time before he left on campaign, the 5th time this year, or perhaps the 6th, he bore me a gift, a trio of war mastiffs, hounds to guard the gates at night. As tall as horses, they howl at all hours, bereft of their master's presence, though I'd give them all the affection I can muster, though I wish they would not drool on my linens. But when they sleep, always together, silence is welcome, a long, quiet peace. I find ways to fill the hours in the garden, but the rain, in this country, it will never cease. So I find myself inside, like Danae in her tower. It is good for my constitution away from the damp. I read the histories, the epic poems, and imagine the vast world of the Greeks, those stories we loved as children. For I am Ariadne, marooned on my island paradise, awaiting Theseus's return in luxurious isolation. Ariadne, the one who gave him the string to navigate the labyrinth and saved his life from her bull brother, the Minotaur, whose poor life was marked with beastly strife. We had our own maze, didn't we? Once upon a time, we ventured out together, hand in hand, found ourselves lost amongst the roses, hedges, and stones, hiding from father. He must have been so cross. We imagined that we could find the exit, and there, the sea. And on wax wings, we would fly across its vastness to our own imaginary kingdom as twin queens. Forgive my saccharine reflections, sister. I dream both day and night now in memory. Let me end this letter before I bore you to tears. Send my love to your gallant sons and husband. I hope to hear from you soon. Your sister, Lepidina. Claudia wakes with a start, looking first at the letter in her hand, then towards the door where her family is asleep. She considers whether she has time or energy enough to write a response. She digs around for a scrap of paper and, picking up a pen, begins.
My heart was glad to hear from you, dear sister. Iris must have heard my thoughts so often on your health, and as they say, her words have wings. For I have missed your spirit in my life. I thank you for your kind greeting to my sons. While Alias is away, they are my guardians. Baby Brutus, my sweet, sweet Philiolus, little bastard, has decided to reject all types of clothing, and like a chubby Cupid, Venus' son, he too finds endless joy in mischief, sticking us with arrows, among other weapons. I've asked his older brother to take care and not to leave his quiver within reach of tiny hands. Alas, poor Brachus. That eldest son of mine, his ears are stuffed more full of wax than all Ulysses' men. Yet I'm no siren. I'm his goddamn mother. Teenagers. Last night, his father went off on campaign. He says he'll be away for 10 weeks at the least. So, to cheer my Brachus up, I held a feast. I see how his heart breaks when Alias goes. I see how mine will likewise crack when soon, next year, he becomes a man and follows. I invited all his friends from Vindalanda and asked our tutor, Phemius, to sing and play for us upon his handsome lyre. Oh, his fingers' touches as Achilles was, light and deft and lush upon the strings. I served deep bowls of wine, well watered down. Brachus loves to play the proper grown-up host. And when the feast was had and cleared away, Phemius, upon his lyre, began to play. I don't know if your young mind can recall the song our mother sang when we were small before she died. Her voice was as the dawn, all rosy warm, and sometimes when you cried at night, for reasons that no oracle could divine, she'd sing of Circe, witchcraft queen, enchantress set within a silver sea upon her magic island. On Circe's throne there sat no crone, but a maiden in a purple cloak. Her veil was gold, her beauty bold, her hair as dark and thick as smoke. With lovely hands she made demand and beckoned men into her home. Well, Phemius began to sing, on Circe's shore their ship they moored, and I knew my very heart was lost, for I could only hear us three together singing mother's favorite part, when Circe turns the men to pigs, where instantly grew bristles. I persevered until the second verse, but even then my shining evening veil could scarcely hide my woman's tears. Good Phemius, I begged, you know the songs of many gods and men besides this witch. I pray you sing of heroes' feats, of battles won in shining bronze, not tales to frighten children. But Brachus, little shit, he glanced around at all his friends and put me in my place. Mother, said the boy of 12, mother, get you in if you must weep, and take the baby with you and your work in hand. Your loom, your web, your maidens you command, but not the realm of men. I like this tune, no witch can frighten me. Bullshit. While father is away, this house and you and all things come beneath my rule, so get you in, woman. He thrust his final blow. I should have sent him to his room, brought out the good wine, and spent the night with my sexy lyre player Phemius. Oh, I would I had a labyrinth for just such instances, to lock these beasts beneath my fortress, to gallop, grunt, and snort with rage, to smash and storm until exhaustion hit. Perhaps a cranky mother could benefit from such a freeing place. As Claudia gets up to tend the baby, a ball of yarn drops from her table above to Lepidina, off the ledge and down onto the floor. The lights change. Lepidina snatches the ball of yarn with childish enthusiasm, searching for her sister.
Claudia, where are you? Quit your chores and come play with me. The sacrifices have arrived. Poor souls, you are to be commended for your bravery. You have been chosen by Athens to come to our fair island of Crete. My father, King Minos, thanks you for your service to your city-state, granting your home another 9 years of peace. He has sent me, his daughter, Ariadne, to greet you in his stead and send you to slaughter in the labyrinth. However, all is not lost. The maze is treacherous, but there is a way out. But you have a hard task ahead of you, for my beastly brother, the Minotaur, has been starved of human flesh and lurks in the shadows. Be light on your feet, for his hearing is like no other. He can smell your nervous sweat, and his sunken eyes can pierce the darkness. Only Daedalus, architect of the maze, knows the right path, and he is imprisoned in his tower, never to indulge his secrets. But between you and me, I find this all rather barbaric. Fair youth, dear Theseus, your countenance has pleased me. So I offer you a gift, this thread. Simply follow this thread as you traverse the shadows, and you will not lose your way. But stay vigilant. Fair Theseus slew the beast with a single pebble at his feet. Die! The Minotaur lies dead on the floor. Suddenly it stirs. Is it coming back to life? Claudia throws off the skin and emerges as Artemis, virgin goddess of the hunt.
Be not afraid, my brave young maid, for though I am a goddess strong and powerful, you may behold me in this human form. I am that goddess feared, both near and far, by men whose curious lust I oft reward by snatching out their voices, turning them to deer, and leaving them to be devoured by their own proper hounds. These are my hounds, bred of the Spartan kind, my hounds and my brave Nereids that do accompany me where'er I walk, and when I bathe myself within a glassy silver pool, they watch for peeping eyes who threat my chastity.
Chastity.
Surely you will know me by the strong bow in my hand, or by Selene, the moon, whose phases I command. Oh, perhaps my brother, twin Apollo bright, will jog your memory. Yeah. It is I, brave Artemis, virgin goddess, guardian of young girls, and I appear to you, the likewise brave.
Uh-huh.
And wise.
Uh-huh.
And strong.
Mm-hmm.
The valiant Argonatrix Atalanta. Atalanta, who as a tiny babe was left upon a hillside by her thankless father, a stupid man who only wanted sons, blind to his daughter's boundless skill and prowess. I saw her there upon that barren place, and I transformed. I took the shape of Ursa, mother bear, allowed the babe to fill her belly full of nourishing milk with magic powers beside to keep her safe. All this I did provide, and left you there to live with hunters, wild, far-shooting Artemis was watching over you as you grew tall and strong. A sudden death awaits that creature darkening your door, be it centaur, man, or a bristled boar!
Those fools, those fools, the Argonauts, they scoffed at me when first to Caledonia I came to hunt the famous boar that plagued the people and their foolish king Aeneas, who'd so neglected your due sacrifice, daughter of Leto. Yet here's my bounty.
She parades the dead boar around the room like a WWE champion!
I
Insert
won it.
Rocky soundtrack here!
I won it with my own straight flying arrows that are not tipped with timid venom like that Nemean coward Heracles.
Ugh.
And they say poison is a woman's weapon. But quick, before those brutes of Argos find us here and steal from me my hard-earned prize, you must accept my offering, far-shooting Artemis. For all my strength, my skills, and all my fortunes come only from your kindly given gifts.
Oh no, my daughter. Those are yours alone. You stand in light created by your spirit, whose fire is fed by steadfast self-belief. Still, I will accept your mighty sacrifice if you will vow to make this solemn vow to me.
My bow, my bounty, and my fate be yours.
Choicest of women, be you ever fortunate as my own virgin priestess in these lands, and swear this oath to never take the name of wife to any man.
I swear it. Not only at your bidding, golden one, but truly in my heart, I never did desire such agony to come into my life as to be married. I would have kept my promise, too, if jealous Aphrodite with her spiteful wit had not betrayed my honor with a trick. My father, yes, the one who left me out to die, heard of my deeds, the boar that I had slain, and thought to ride upon my hard-earned fame to his advancement. So that, on my returning from sailing wine dark seas on board the Argo, Jason's famous bark, my father did exploit paternal rights to command my soul and body to his will, before the varnish of my victories wore thin. So I agreed, but had this little catch. The one who beats me in a race, that man will be my match, or else I'll kill him. Ugh, my feet are swifter than that fame-fed boy. Achilles, please. If I had been at Troy, the stories would be different. I'd wear a suit of shining bronze so splendid, all sons of Zeus would cower in their sandals, especially Paris, that lovesick fool, blind simpleton obsessed with Helen's thighs, poor plaything of the gods, Olympus high.
A golden apple rolls in front of her.
But something then caught Atalanta's eye.
Yay! Woohoo!
Yay!
Yeah! Nice one.
Nice, fun.
I'll be interested to watch that back and see what it looks like on a computer screen.
Going like, ah!
I have no idea whether the Minotaur thing works, but
It worked out. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So that's the first little bit of SOROR CARA that Harmonie and I have been writing for the staged reading this weekend at the Beaumont Fringe, which is we're going to be performing at 8:30 on Saturday, August 22nd. So just go to www.tigershearts.com/SOROR CARA, SOROR-CARA. or just, find it on the Facebook page. That's probably easier. It's kind of funny because Cara is my sister's name, but with a K. So it's like dear sister, my sister.
Nice. I like that the Latin worked out in our favor.
Yeah, it makes me really happy. I also want to just acknowledge that the land on which we've been creating this piece is Amisquachuswaskaiken. We're in colonially known as Edmonton. And when we were doing the symposium the other night, we talked a lot about how important it is to acknowledge language and the history that it has and the connections that it has with the land. So we're immensely proud to be creating in this place and bringing you stories from the ancient world in a way that I hope is a little bit, like, sometimes it kind of feels like we're prying them from the cold, dead hands of the white patriarchy, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to hear, these women's stories, and to have them brought to life in a way that I certainly haven't seen before. And I know that one place that I really hope that we can take this story eventually is to incorporate other characters. There's a really fantastic archaeological story about Ivory Bangle Lady. And she was a skeleton that was discovered. She had an ivory cuff and I believe it was an onyx cuff as well that she wore on the same hand, so one black and one white. And scientists have, in their advancements that I know nothing about, have discovered that her skeleton is of African origin. So she was probably a Black woman living in Roman Britain who was very wealthy. She wasn't a slave. She didn't come from, as far as we know, as far as we can glean from the archaeological evidence, she was very well off. And I think that's a story that we just don't hear. It's been completely erased, along with a lot of Black people of color from history, especially when we're talking about classical Greco-Roman history. So I'd really love to find a way to incorporate her story in with these sisters one day. But thanks, everybody. Maybe we'll see you this weekend. And yeah, be well. Enjoy the rain. It's really nice. Bye, Harmonie. See you soon.
Thanks for having me.